Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is another episode of Nature's Jewels, soon to be Mr. Crawlings. Uh, so what today I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of show you what I like to set up my arboreal tarantulas and even some of my burrowing species. Some of these containers work great, but this is going to be a little DIY of how I like to ventilate the lids or sides. You could use this application pretty much for any sort of enclosure that you want to make for yourself to fit and suit your needs. So some of the things you're going to need today or whenever you do your projects are hot glue gun, some glue sticks. You can see this is a finished little enclosure that I have for my small Malaysian giant centipede. He's eating and doing really well, growing, but it burrows a lot, so you don't get to see it as often. Red lights or any sort of dim lighting and viewing it in the evening hours is suggested. This is a new container that I'm going to basically be turning into this for a northern orb weaver spider species that I collected. Not the typical browns, it's a nice black and yellow, but basically going to be turning that top into that one. Now, just to show you basically how to do this, there will be some rough edges once I complete that lid, and I'll show you that. But once you complete that, you're going to cut out a piece of screen mesh and use your hot glue, and you're going to tack down 4 alternating sides and then go around and seal it completely. And you're going to want to pull the screen tight too, because you want it kind of taut. So that's how I do those. And these are great too because they're escape proof. With the screw on lids, you get a nice good seal on them. Nothing's going to be able to get out. Now over here I have a tub, and this is a blue tub because I'm going to be using this for some of my orange head roaches that I use for feeders for some of my tarantula species and such. And I'm going to go ahead and drill a couple holes in this, and you're also going to need some screen mesh that you can buy at the hardware store for only a few bucks. All of this stuff is relatively cheap. You're going to want to drill outwards, so I'm going to go ahead and put 3 holes in this. I'm using a 2.5-inch bit, and try to stay centered as best as possible. Alright, and there you have it. You take a little bit of sandpaper, you sand down the edges, and then you'll add your wire screen mesh, and this should be plenty of ventilation. Now if I wanted to be more detailed, I'd probably chalk some lines and make sure it's perfectly straight, but this is going to be plenty of ventilation for my orange head roach colony. And I'll also do the same to the white cap as well. Now with the white caps, you want to be a little bit more careful, and you definitely want to be much more centered, because if you don't have enough room on the sides, you won't be able to have the room around the edges for the glue. But that's about it. And like I said, I'll go around, I'll smooth down these edges. Some of the plastic, when it's fresh, will be warm and you'll be able to peel chunks off of it, but because this is a thicker plastic, it's a little harder to do. And if you want a smoother cut, you're going to take longer at just nice gradual speed and not a lot of pressure. And that's how I make these guys. Nice deep layer substrate for your burrowing species, about 1 inch or so for some of your arboreals. And then also if you have a much taller enclosure like this, to get proper ventilation all the way around, as long as they're not very small. I use a soldering iron, and I'll just melt 2 holes on each side for ventilation throughout. But that concludes my DIY enclosure tutorial. If you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.